Welcome back to Pop Up Like It's 3. Today we're going to talk about something that is commonly not talked about, especially with pop-up campers. In fact, you probably only find a handful of videos here on YouTube about it. And that's installing solar panels and electricity inside your pop-up camper. So stay tuned. Let's talk about powering up the camper with solar panels.
We roll up in the trees, no city lights in sight. Pop up the camper, set the vibe just right. Got the grill on fire, yeah, we cooking it slow. In the wild where the stars put on their show. Pop up like it's hot when the night's getting cool. Pop up like it's hot under sky so full. Pop up like it's hot, yeah, we're breaking the mold. Camping in the wild where the stories unfold. Crickets singing, beats like an nature man.
All right, let's get into it. So you see, I think the thing about pop-up campers and solar panels is everybody's afraid to mount these things on top of the pop-up. Yes, there's limited space inside the frame and the walls of these pop-up campers, so we're afraid of leakage. But I'm gonna let you out on a little hint. So there are certain key points of the pop-up camper. You see here, we got this to think about when you're installing these pop-up campers. Where is the wood inside this roof? It's kind of hard to know. And before I get into it, anybody notice what's missing? Yep, that big giant ugly AC. That thing was a mess. We had to get rid of it. It was too dirty, just wasn't working. It would have cost me more. But I'm still waiting for those AC companies to reach out to me. I could use a nice 12-volt AC. I'd love to do a review on it. Can't afford it, but I'd love to do a review on it. So as you can see, we got some rain here tonight, or last night rather. So let's talk about how to mount these solar panels. Now we have two 100 amp solar panels. I believe I got them off of Amazon. It's called Host. I think it was like Host A. I'll put a link down in the bottom to it. We got here. It's the I forgot what gauge this is, but the bigger the gauge, the better. This here keeps the water out, obviously, makes everything nice and watertight. So let's talk about how to mount these. As you can see, it's put in a weird pattern. Most people have them nice parallel to each other. I did this for a reason. You see, key point to know in a pop-up camper roof, at least this one, the Rockwood Freedom, you have wood all along the edge, both edges, and obviously the wood frame is going to be, let me move around here so you can see, the wood frame is obviously going to be around the hole for where the AC vent is. So you have a wood frame, actually there's some metal in there too. So that's where my holes are screwed and mounted to the roof. The key, obviously, to it not leaking is butyl tape. Butyl tape will save your life. It'll save your pop-up camper, right? For one. The one thing I haven't figured out though is when it rains, I get tons of water mounted on top of these solar panels. So if anybody has any ideas on what to do I guess I could have angled them, but I was worried about the water, the sunlight rather. And I'm obviously not going to wipe this with my hand because there are stories of people who have touched the solar panel and have been electrocuted or shocked. Now, obviously it's only 12-volt power, but I'm not taking any chances. So now we know where to mount these and how. So what I used rather, was stainless steel screws because stainless steel screws will not rust, so they say. Then on top of that, if you see these washers here, these are actually roofing washers that have like a rubber seal underneath them, also used to keep the water out. Now, in addition to that, the butyl tape, which is this black stuff here, this stuff is amazing. Where to run the wires, you see? That's actually not as hard as you would think. Once again, let's go back and look at here. You see it? So the wires are, obviously I have 2 panels and there's 4 wires. Positive, negative from that one. Positive, negative from this one. What you do is you tee it off. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll put a link in it. But basically it's a 4 connector, like a Y almost, that will take your positive and negative from one, positive and negative from this one, and convert it down to just 2 positive and negative so that you can run it through the camper. And you see here, I ran it as close as possible to the edge, obviously once again to hit the wood on the frame. And if you notice, I actually covered each screw. I know it says stainless steel doesn't rust, but I was taking my chances, so I covered the screws with the butyl tape as well. This is run right through, which we'll show you in a second, where the original camper wires are run for the light inside that little sleeve of the canvas. And I have my battery mounted here. We'll show you that later. Obviously we got some thick gauge wire running from there. Now instead of running the battery wires through the camper, I ran underneath all the way to the junction box. That was no easy task, only because didn't feel like getting on the floor. So I guess it wasn't easy, it's just a matter of not being lazy. So we can show you that as well. I'll show you underneath where the wires are all running. I still haven't got my propane tank yet. But what I'll do is I'll show you a quick clip, or you can look in the shorts, because we actually snuck this joker out to do some camping a couple weeks ago, 4th of July weekend. Even though it wasn't completely finished, but we were anxious, so we snuck it out. And maybe show you some of the lights, we'll show you inside what it looked like. We're still not completely done. I got an awning, which will be a next video, because that's another money saver thing, because the awnings that come for these pop-up campers can run you close to like anywhere like 200 and up. But my wife, who's very what's the word, smart, money smart, she finds all the deals. I'm telling you, what we did to save money for the awning, it's gonna blow your mind. But that'll be a future video, because I didn't put that up there yet. Also, I'm trying not to show the actual plate number because I know YouTube frowns on that, but we got a Maine license plate. Why, you say? Yes, you're from New Jersey. Why do you have a Maine license plate? That's another explanation. I don't want to give too much because I don't want, legal problem, but it is. What we did was legal. We had some problems with the camper. I just don't, it's not that I don't want to tell it it's not legal, it's just that I don't want to encourage anyone who is, because there are a lot of people out there stealing these things. It's kind of annoying. So if you don't have an actual, really? So if you don't have an actual, what's to say, we didn't have the registration, the former registration, because the people we bought it from, the owner didn't give it to them. Said he didn't need it, obviously. We tried contacting the owner before the owner, and he just didn't respond. So in New Jersey, it's a little difficult to register these things without the previous registration. We had the bill of sale. We actually even had a copy of the bill of sale of the last owner, and they still wouldn't work with us. So there is a little trick to getting your own registration, even though you're in a state that makes it difficult to get a registration for these things. But we'll talk about that another time. So let me pop this joker open and show you some of the electrical from the inside, show you how it's run, and let's get it popping. Pop up like it's hot. Oh, by the way, we're looking for some subscribers. We're looking for you guys to help us out. Once we get some subscribers, anybody who comments in our comments, we're gonna give away some pop-up like it's hot stickers for your decals for your pop-up camper. We're gonna give some pop-up like it's hot t-shirts. Yeah, I know you want those. You saw the logo at the beginning. They're kind of hot. They're kind of hot. So once you give me some subscribers, I need y'all help. Everybody. It only takes 2 seconds to hit a like, hit a subscribe, you get notifications on these beautiful tips, and you get free stuff, especially if you comment. So let us know. Also, we could use the comments because we could use some insight on what we could do better. What do you guys want to see? Help me out. All right. And we thank all the ones who have subscribed already. Few, but powerful. And we look forward to meeting and talking to some more of you people. All right, so let's get into talking more about this electrical.
Pop up like it's hot when the night's getting cool. Pop up like it's hot under sky so full.
All right, so it's a little messy in here right now. I'm doing some work. But as you can see, I was saying the wires straight through the roof. That's for a strip light. Right here is butyl tape, so it's protected on the outside. I used the existing wires for this light, this light, this light, and this light. I had to run my own line for the new fan, which is also 12 volt. As you can see, instead of going through the wall, I still got to cover it, but we're just going up through the crack and over. And everything is run down this sleeve, all the way down to the back here, which you can see. And then through the counter, underneath, all the way to the panel box. Now, I'll give you a wiring diagram, anybody who wants. I'll post it up on the screen. But basically, let's move this cushion out the way. The pipe still wants to work on those. Basically, we have a line and alright, don't clown on me about my water pipes, but still, that's a work in progress. But we got the battery, we got this breaker, this cutoff switch right straight from the battery, which I will shut off when we're using oh, that almost hurt me really bad. So this gets shut off when shore power is coming in. Right now you can see the solar panels are receiving, look at that, it's not bad. So it goes off and on. But then, so normally these pop-up campers, they have a switch that activates the electricity when the sink is in the up position. So what I did was I bypassed that because I have a 100 amp fuse / switch here that I wanted to be able to manually turn the power off and on even if I didn't have the sink up. That being said, it also had like its own little switch for the heater and for the pump. But what I did was we connected this panel of switches here. This one here controls the pump. This one controls the heater when I get to that. And the rest are just open in case I need it for something else. Or these control the lights. Now this switch I just turned on controls all of the USB. And this switch here controls the strip lighting. Silly thing, I lost the remote for the strip lighting shortly after installing it. But this little box here actually is basically the same as a remote. I can switch the colors there. I can switch the dimming switch, all this other blah blah blah. So the other two switches right.
The camper set the vibe just right. Got the fire, get me cooking it slow. In the wild where the stars put on their show. Our public gets hot.